Hello, my name is David Sandham, and I'm going to talk about The Champion's Mind, which was the book that I chose for my book exploration project. Wanted to keep it a little bit, different and fun with the cowboy hat, since I'm a Norwegian living in Utah. So you gotta love the Western culture here. Okay, let's keep this going. All right. So The Champion's Mind was written by Jim Afremo, and it talks about athletes and performance and how we can achieve it, and how achieving mental strength and how we can work hard to be able to change our mentalities. And it applies to everyone who wants to achieve success. I mean, all stages and groups, and everyone, no matter where they are in life. And there's a lot of examples from Olympians, and there's a lot of quotes on how we can achieve success. And each chapter starts with a quote from a famous person or an athlete or a philosopher, and it was really cool. Talks a little bit about how we can get in our zone and how we can thrive in teamwork and creating a performance-based routine to be able to achieve as much as we can with the time that's given us, and how we can be able to excel as students and athletes in other areas of our lives, and how we can be able to develop confidence, concentration, and mental preparedness to be able to get our goals done, and how we can be able to be champions in our own regard. So, let's see here. Next one. Let's go. So, a quote here from William Shakespeare says, "Be great in act as you have been in thought." And Jim Afremo here, a little bit about him. He has a PhD. He was a founder of Good to Gold Medal, leading coaching and practice facility. It was a very successful, and it is a very successful practice facility. And he has a lot of athletes and a lot of famous people come in, and he helps them change their mentality so they can be able to get it or take it to the next level. He's a sports psychologist and a licensed counselor. So he has a lot of experience being able to work with professional people who have been able to achieve success. He's worked at Arizona State University, which is a credible, university. It is a very well-known academic university. And he's worked with athletes at all levels to be able to enhance performance. And he's been able to, help very famous people, successful people, being able to take it to that next level. And, he himself was an Olympian in the Miracle on Ice hockey team. So he's had experience. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's worked with athletes in the MLB, NBA, WNBA, NFL, NHL, the PGA, and the LGP Tour. He has worked with business professionals, performing artists, and other demanding careers. So he has been able to work with very successful and professional people to be able to, pull out their own weaknesses to make them into strengths. He is a motivational speaker and worked in business for about 30 years, so he has had a lot of experience in the world of business, and he brings a little bit of that into consideration as well, talking about how we can have champion-like minds. And he was a goalie, like I said, for the Miracle on Ice hockey team. All right, let's keep it going. Here's the third slide. So the next quote that I wanted to talk about was the next quote that I brought in as an example, was from Muhammad Ali, who is a well-known boxer, one of the greatest to ever do it. And he said, "Champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside of them. A desire, a dream, and a vision." And, was it a feel-good book? Based on evidence, and it was very evidence-based, based on factual examples, research, and he brought in a lot of other professional sources, a lot of other theorists, and he included research from other professors and studies to prove insight. It was very motivational. I loved it, how it was able to pull in a lot of these reflections from professional athletes and successful people to be able to, apply it to our own lives. And it was very inspirational. And, there's so many examples of how some of the greatest people to ever do has been able to achieve success. Focus on mental strength of those who have succeeded. And, under each section, there's an example, like I said, and it was reflection-based with research and true stories of these athletes. So it made it, even better because all these stories that he brings up are true stories. And it was interviews with athletes. He's done a lot of interviews like he's had in his facility. They've come to him and he's interviewed them, and he brings up a lot of his favorite examples from other professional athletes and what type of mentality they have to be able to succeed, and what they personally have done to be able to make it as far as they have. It's a both feel-good book, and it is very evidence-based. Hearing a lot of these stories about how they've been able to make it from nothing and how hard they've had to work. And, it takes a lot of these examples from their early stages in life, when they first started and what made them want to be able to pursue their passions, and how incredibly hard they had to work to be able to be successful, and how they were able to stand out, to be able to make a difference and be champions. So let's go on here. Okay. The next bullet point talks about why I chose this book. And I'm a sports enthusiast myself. I love sports. I follow the NBA and soccer. And, I'm just a very big enthusiast of sports, and I think it's very motivational. And, I think it's so fun to learn about these people who had to really push themselves, that extra mile to make it. And, sometimes it can be a struggle to get motivation to get educational work done, and what we have to do to be able to make it academically. It's highly applicable in this book to be able to use some of these examples, to be able to make it. And all the techniques that he's brought up as examples is also very, very, very applicable to us college students, because we're in college to make it. We want to be able to improve our lives, and with our degree, we can be able to really do something that we love and make a difference in the world. And a lot of my idols were in this book, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, other famous champions that have made it. I love basketball, so reading about their stories and all of their setbacks and injuries and, just what made them stand out in the professional realm, because, each sports team and each sports league has professionals, but what makes the greatest ones in those leagues? And they have to be able to push themselves that extra mile. So it was applied not only to sports, but everyday life. In our lives, we can be able to use a lot of these concepts. We don't have to be a professional athlete. We don't have to be, well-known business individual. We don't have to be a philosopher. We can apply a lot of these examples and a lot of their life experience into our own lives, and, try to be able to change and try to be able to improve in some way. So talked a little bit about how you can be able to handle stress and overthinking. Me, myself, sometimes I struggle with this. Sometimes I can be very stressed and I can overthink, and that can be hard to get work done when you are overthinking. So being able to use some of these techniques and things like meditation and being able to have a plan to be able to execute it has been very helpful to me as a senior in college. So it's helped me get through this last bit of college and last bit of this college education. And, it's helped me try to think about establishing healthy routines, because sometimes I don't have the healthiest routines myself. Sometimes it's easy to just, be careless, or sometimes you're just, feeling a little bit discouraged or a little bit, defeated. So then routines can be harder to maintain. But reading this book, it's been very good, because it's been able to help me use some of these examples in my own life to when it does get tough, it's very, very good to be able to have a fallback to be able to achieve success and be able to have a plan so you can be able to execute it. And, it's been a very rough year worldwide. Mentality plays a huge factor in overcoming hardships, and these athletes have been faced with so many hardships, and they've been faced with adversity and people telling them that they can't make it and you can't do it. And they have been able to just keep their own winner mentality and not care what anyone else says. They've been able to work hard and push through it. Habits, and I can apply that to my own life as well. I want to be able to succeed, and sometimes we sell ourselves short. And this book has been able to teach me to be able to only talk positively to myself and stop with the negative self-talk, because we all struggle with that at times. Habits, like I talked about, and I loved how positive psychology can influence us to have successful lives. And being able to use the concepts in positive psychology to be able to maintain a positive and good, mentality to be able to have success. And, it's relatable to our course to see how the very best apply the principles that we learned about in class, because they have been able to make it through all this adversity to be able to be well-recognized athletes. And, their hard work and their ethic and their mentality is something we can apply to college as well. This is very, very good. And I love the book, and I'm happy I chose it. So The next quote in one of the chapters that I really loved was by Aristotle, and he said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, it's not an act, but it's a habit." What did I like and not like about the book? I liked how it was structured and how it started each chapter with the famous quote, highly applicable to anyone in any life setting, very motivational. Made me want to change my own mentality and improve aspects of my own life. Very credible and very academically correct with all the sources and theorists. And it was just a well-structured, well-made book. It's inspirational and eye-opening, and how hard these people had to work to achieve their success. It was so inspirational and made me want to achieve success on my own, because I want to have that same mentality that these champions have had, to be able to accomplish and academically and be able to find passions and go for it. So only con is there was a lot of Olympic references at one section of the book. It was one section had only Olympic references, which I thought was a little bit one-sided at points of time, excuse me, and had a lot of sources and examples otherwise, but that's the only negative thing I have to say about it, and it was just a fantastic book. And it brought in other philosophical perspectives from historical figures like Aristotle here in this example. Only positives other than that, and highly applicable to positive psychology and to this course. So here's a quote from Woody Allen: 80% of success is showing up, and I have to hurry a little bit because I want to stay in the time limit. And how has it inspired to make changes in my own life? Better routines, reading more, inspired me to listen to other opinions, and it's inspired me not to listen to others' opinions of me and achieve my own version of becoming a champion, and try to be healthier, become more aware, and change my mentality, and become more confident and visualize my goals more often, even if it seems unlikely or the odds are stacked against me. I'll just go for it. And I think that's the mentality we need to have. We just need to go for it. It made me become more excited for the future, what it is I personally want for my own life. And it made me, think about what is it that I want in my own life, what I want to succeed in, what I want to succeed with, what I want to do. And it was just very eye-opening to read something that made me want to go for my goals. So here is the next slide. So how can we apply the contents of the book to our personal lives? We can be able to relax, we can be able to recharge, have a better mentality about getting educational work done, do 110%, and do what is required of us, be able to handle stress, view setbacks as something we can learn from, so that was very good, and how to deal with a lot of these things and negative self-talk, and, it was just very, very good. Talked a little bit about, recommending this book to anyone. I would recommend it to a lot of people because it was very, very good. The book has positive influence on anyone, regardless of position in society. I'd recommend it to my parents, my family and loved ones, because I thought it was just so great. And, it can help improve any setting of life and any type of struggle that we're going through. So, it include anything else that I'd like to help us understand from my experience. It's a lot of examples through athletes and philosophical people. His message is to use the concept that he teaches and apply them to our own lives. And, I've been able to apply it to my own life, and I think it was very, very great and well written. Our lives are meant to enjoy ourselves and achieve the best of ourselves in any setting, and to use the examples that we learn so we can become champions in our own way. And as Walt Whitman says, let your soul stand cool and composed before a million universes. And I just thought that was a very, very well said thing. So my last slide here talked about the destiny of a man is in his own soul. And, I brought up LeBron James here because he's one of my favorite athletes, and he, thanked his mother. So my question, he thanked his mother for winning the MVP award because she helped him get through. So one question that I ask my peers is, what role model do you personally have, and how can you apply something they had to push through to motivate you in a current situation in life? So how has, someone that you love been able to help you, motivate you? What examples have you had in your life that have been able to motivate you? So I love this book. Just think about that for a second. What have people made or done to be able to inspire you, as this book inspired me? So I hope Got everything. So thank you very much.